You mean here? You're talking everywhere or just only the novices? You mean everyone here?
Maybe.
Everyone here. Okay, so let me briefly describe the history of this center. And to the best of my knowledge, this is the biggest meditation center in Cambodia, and it can be the oldest meditation center in Cambodia after the Pol Pot regime, after the war. So it is like 30 years old now, I think, and the founder died. Like we have three leaders, and the current president is the third one. So we are in the third generation. So here the main purpose is to disseminate and practice meditation. And from Buddhist perspective, we have two assignments or two, I would say the tasks or responsibilities when it comes to the spiritual well-being. One is learning, studying the theoretical ideologies or teachings of the Buddha. We have to learn, and the second one is meditation. We call it vipassana dhura. That if you are old enough that you don't have time to learn the theory, you can directly practice. So here the main purpose is both to learn and practice. If you are young enough to learn the theory, you are allowed to learn. Like the novices, you are teaching the English, so we allow them to learn the theory from the basic level, Pali, then Buddhist, the history of the Buddha, and on and so on. And you can see there are old monks, so theories are taught, but at the same time they have to spend more time for practice and meditation. So here basically, besides the administrative, the administrative group or monks who are involving in administrative system, like me and my colleagues, other monks and nuns, they have to spend their time for meditation. So normally there are two types of meditation they have to practice. One is individual practice and a group practice. So individual practice is in the early morning, starting from 4 until 5:30. They can practice at their chamber, at their house. But some people they practice, some people they sleep. But it's not a force because it's a spiritual journey. And then in the morning they have to go for alms round, as you have been seeing that they have to go in line to take the food. But normally in the morning is lesser than lunch, because some monks and nuns they don't take 2 meals, they take only 1 meal. So that's why for lunch is much more than the breakfast. So after the breakfast the meditation classes will be conducted at from 7:30 from 7 to 9:30 for everyone. Except us, because we have to work, we have to check, we have to but we do our own practice at night and in early morning. So then the class then from 9:30 to 10:30 they have to prepare themselves for lunch, and I mean and as you know, then 10:30 they have to come again and take their lunch. So and then they start meditate again after lunch, like 1:30 until 4:30, like that. So after that they have to do their daily chanting as a group, and after that if they want to meditate they can meditate. If they don't want, like it's their, they have their own free time. But for young monks they have to learn, morning, afternoon they have to learn. At night, if no English classes like you are doing, they have to learn something. They have to learn, they have to do the homework. And I would say it can be described into two forms. One is the number of the people, and another one is the quality. We can say quantity and quality. So quantity, it seems that it increases in terms of we would say the quantity, like in Buddhist country, here 95% in Sri Lanka, in Thailand. But from Buddha's teaching, it is not about the real increase. Just the number is not the real increase. It's about the quality, whether how much you understand and how many people practice the real Buddhism. That's the question. So from my understanding, yes, the number, not the number, I would say the trend, the trend in in engaging in Buddhist practices much more than before, but the quality is, because there are many conflict in terms of philosophy, because I can see everywhere in Sri Lanka, in Thailand, in Burma, in Cambodia, that among the practitioners, there are very rare real practitioners like with the purpose of attain enlightenment. So I'm very open for that, because sometimes they misuse the philosophy for money, for business. That it happens. So for me, as I understand, the Buddha said the decrease is about quality of practicing. Right? The quality of practicing is going down. Yeah.
Would you say this is because of globalization, or what is the main fact of this?
The main fact, as from my investigation and observing, is about that the expressive economic growth and the globalization, that people are chasing after money rather than the spirituality, and they are very busy, in life. I mean, everywhere, not even in Buddhist country. And as you know, even in United States, there are many atheists, because they don't believe in. I read Bible and I know Islam a little bit. Even we have, conflict philosophy, but there are some goodness in that religion. If people try to follow, it would be a more beautiful world. But the thing is, people, they have their own excuses. They reject the religion and they walk their own path. They start having their own philosophy rather than accepting the good philosophy of their own religion. So I think, yes, that's the point. From Buddhist philosophy, that is the point, that people are having more desire. Yeah, they have more desire. wanting, yeah. They want development, like kinds of competition, we are running in a race. So that's the reason. So yeah, anything you want to?
How many forms of Buddhism exist?
In today's society?
Yeah, so what was the first one? Because I was talking with a friend who asked me what kind of Buddhism do you practice here, and I said, Buddhism. I don't know.
Okay, good question.
She said that they practice the Tibetan Buddhism, and it's different.
Yeah.
In what sense?
Yeah. So we call it traditions. Basically, in today's society, there are three main traditions. one we call it Theravada tradition. So we are practicing Theravada. So when you see, so it exists in Sri Lanka, Thailand, Burma, Laos, Cambodia. So they are called Theravadic countries. So different is the robe. This is the way we wear. Okay, so half,
Yeah.
and then when we go out, we put it around. We call Theravadic tradition. Then you find Mahayana. Mahayana dominates in China, Korea, Japan. Basically, and you can Shaolin monk that they have trousers. You can see they do kung fu. Yeah, they have their own shirt. You can see, and they have different
Uniform.
colors. In uniform.
More like the movie Buddhism that
Yeah,
you
yeah,
see in the
yeah,
movie.
yeah. And within that Mahayana tradition, there are many schools. Zen, I forgot, Zen Buddhism. There are many. Shaolin, like they have their own school. And then you move to Vajrayana. Okay, we call it Vajrayana, diamond vehicle. So Vajrayana dominates in Tibet, in where sometime in Bhutan. Okay, and you can see Dalai Lama is Dalai Lama. His Holiness Dalai Lama belongs to Vajrayana. So you can see he can wear the cap, shirt, like color. You can see. But because that school comes from Tibet, that is why it is known Tibetan Buddhism. But within that Tibetan Buddhism, there are many schools. Tradition, we call it again tradition, or we can say sects, that some monastic life they can have wife, but His Holiness, no, his group don't accept that. Even within the Mahayana, even in Japan, some monks can have wife, family like that, doing business. So just to learn, I'm not criticizing them, but only Theravada we don't devise much school. But there are some individuals who make the mistake or setback or like failure in spirituality. They break their rules. Those are just individualistic problem, but they don't claim that as a school, as a group of monastic life, But in Mahayana and Vajrayana, they have their own group. That's okay. Having wife is okay. Doing business is okay, because we're doing it out of compassion. Like they have their own philosophy, and I'm not saying they are wrong. So here we practice Theravada Buddhism, but Theravada Buddhism is not famous in European countries. The reason is, as my understanding, okay, because we monks don't adapt to that society. Dalai Lama, he can touch the girl, he can hug the girl, kiss the girl, having a blessing. So we are not allowed to do so. That is why, because our rules are restrict. That is why Theravadic Buddhism is not that famous, as much as Tibetan Buddhism. It's about the culture problem. So, but here we practice Theravadic Buddhism. But what I have learned from my master, so I took a course of comparison of the tradition like Mahayana, Vajrayana, and Theravada. What the scholars say is, regardless of differences in terms of, I call it cultural practices, but fundamentally we have the same teaching. Either Mahayana, either Vajrayana or Theravada, we have the same fundamental teaching, that the circle of life, life is impermanent, suffering, non-self, like kinds of no creationism, depends on only the mind, that the Buddha will come, that everyone can become the Buddha. So that is the philosophy. But there are slight differences in terms of some philosophy, but the fundamental teachings are the same. I mean, the karmic concept, dependent origination, the evolutionism, what I have explained to you, like we bear the similarities in terms of fundamental teachings. So, but we Theravada, Theravada, so you can recognize here, like no more decoration, and you can check that Mahayana how they wear the robe. Mostly they use the shirt, but I'm not criticizing, but there are some Theravadic monks when they go to European countries or United States, they start changing a little bit. Sometimes they wear the shirt, but they will cover with this robe. You can see, like, because but it's okay. It's their choice. But basically, when it comes to the rule, you are not allowed even to wear the shirt, even it is the same color. Yeah, like we Theravadic is more. We have
What's the truth?
Yeah.
And when you go to another country or Europe, United States,
The same.
you need to wear this,
The same thing. Yeah.
even if it's really cold.
Yeah. Then the thing is, we will use the blanket to cover. Sometimes we can use the cap, but we have to cover it. Like so no trousers, no shirt. To be honest, only the monks who observe the strict rules. Some monks, they have their own, excuse, flexibility. Say it's not a big thing, so I can use the shirt. So what I'm saying, it's their choice. But the monks who observe very strict rules, they don't wear. They say, but what they are doing is they practice meditation to make their body heat, because when it comes to the meditative practices, you can change the temperature of your body by using the mind. So some monks, they do that. So, but they don't show you, because they feel inside. So when it is cold, they practice, we call it fire meditation. The body become heat. So when they are in hot country, it's very hot, they practice water meditation. So that is the practice. But for the monks who don't have that ability, yes, it's okay, they cannot bear. It's very hard. Yeah.
What was the place when Buddhism first appeared? Where did Buddha live?
India. Yeah, and like I'm sorry to say that, but very funny sometimes. I think that even the scripture says Buddha only born in India. Only in India. Yeah. Maybe different reason for that, I don't know. Only from India. Yeah. So, but at the beginning, Buddhism is cherished in India, but later on it will be practiced where else? Elsewhere, like Sri Lanka, Cambodia, Thailand. So now India is very less. Yeah. But normally Buddha is born only in India. His entire family is there. Every Buddha. I don't know what's the reason, but the answer from the scripture is, he said, this is the law of the Buddha. He is born only in India.
So you told us that you were traveling to the US and Europe. What was your purpose of these travels? And did you meet other groups there, Buddhist groups? And how do they live and how did they adapt to that culture?
Okay, so as I mentioned earlier, most of the monks, they find their own way to adapt to that society, to satisfy the people needs. Sometimes they do only chanting, blessing. They don't even meditate. Sometimes some monks they meditate, so they have their own choice doing that. But as long as you have your own goal that to change the people's life for the happiness, you might have different approaches. And in terms of uniform, they adapt, like they change, like the same robe, but they will wear the shirts and using the, how to say, shoes, boots, right?
Yes.
Yeah, because ice, you cannot walk with the normal. So for me it's okay, but when I went to United States, I use only the, how to say, sock, yes, sock.
Sock.
Yeah, sock. Yeah, and then for me it was fine, but I know it's tough. Then that's why I didn't go outside so much. But in Europe, because of the force of my friend, I used it's a jacket, right?
Jacket.
Yeah, when I was in Germany, he said otherwise you will be sick. So in Buddhism, like when you make a mistake, when you come back to the temple, you can do the confession to the Buddha or to your friend that today I make a mistake. So thinking of that, I because it was very cold in Germany. It's my first time there. So from I visited Sri Lankan temples, Cambodian temples. They didn't change much, like to adapt to the society, because most of the people come to the monastery are Cambodians and Sri Lankans. Very few French people come to the temple. So I think they manage very well, and because the purpose is to spread Buddhism, disseminate Buddhism. So at the same time, you have to know their culture. You cannot you have to create more humbleness. Like here people come to you, worshipping and greetings and offer. But when you live in Europe or Singapore or Malaysia, you have to double work. You have to work more. Sometimes I'm sorry to say this word, like a servant of the Buddha, that you have to clean the temple, you have to wash the toilet, you have to do your own cooking. Sometimes you have to serve the people when they come to the monastery. You have to go say hello, you have to give them to eat something. So like you have to change your role, because no one will come to do everything for you. So I saw that and I did that also. So this is the way how they adapt to it. But my purpose is just to visit, because devotees who know me invited me a few times that please come to visit us to France, to Germany, and then United States. Just my friends invited me to join the ceremony. I spent there only 15 days. But for me, to be honest, it's tiring, because it's very long distance from one place to one place. I say, oh my goodness, I would be better off than if I stay in my room reading the books. So just to enjoy that, because we only hear that people say about this, about that. So I went to Germany. But for me, very good management. But I never been to your country, but I think maybe European countries have, even there are quite differences, but the same management they have. So just to know it's good. But I will plan to visit in future. Okay, any question? I didn't bring the books. Any question about meditation? No.
How
can we start?
Start?
Okay, so tomorrow you will be free, right?
Yes.
No teaching.
No teaching.
If you are not busy, maybe after this around 7:30 or 8, we can meet here or pagoda. I will teach you like 10 minutes or 15 minutes meditation practice. Okay? Just to learn what they are doing when you keep your eyes closed. meditation. Yeah. But I think as psychologists, you have to know the practice that the mindfulness-based practice. You know that it's very famous. The Professor Monica knows that mindfulness-based cognitive therapy. Yeah. So the mindfulness is the Buddhist practice. They took the fundamental concepts and include it into the therapy. Before like CBT, then they just add the mindfulness-based cognitive therapy. So just to let you know that there is a concept in mindfulness practice that the main practice is to cultivate the mindfulness, the awareness. So within that awareness, you train your mind not to judge, not to criticize. Like you have to equally accept everything comes and go. You know, no rejection, no criticism, no bad, no good. Like when feelings arise, you have to be aware. You experience the feeling. You don't judge it is bad, it is good, or just okay, I don't like this, I like only this. No, you just aware of it. Like aware as the, how to say that, the bystander. You know, that you are looking at it as the way it is. So it's easy to say, but I know even when it comes to the practice, it's very hard, and you have to remain on your breath. You have to be aware as much as possible of your breath. You have to be aware, breathing in, breathing out. Distraction come, you have to be aware, bring it back. So it kinds of that. It's mental training. So in Buddhist meditation, you cultivate a lot of, I call it mental faculties. A lot. In psychology, you call it cognitive functions or cognitive process. You cultivate a lot. Attention, perception, mindfulness, wisdom, patience, kindness, compassion. A lot. You energy, like no laziness, great effort, confidence. You know, you need that, because when it comes to practice, you have to sit for 30 minutes, 1 hour, 2 hours. So you need that kinds of patience and tolerance. So from that point, Buddhist meditation is about cultivating the mental faculties, positive mental faculties. So it's hard. Basically, the paying attention. So I will teach you. Yeah.
What do you recommend for a stubborn person to like calm down and to start focusing on his breathing? Because I'm that kind of person. I like to move around. I don't like to sit in a place. And
I can understand. The basic practice is, if you can practice 1 minute motionless movement. If you can practice 1 minute motionless, no need to meditate. Like you can keep your body this way, and then you put the alarm, and you sit like this 1 minute. It's hard at the beginning, that you might, like it's kinds of, how to say that, kinds of irritating, that shaking. But the more you train, at 1 minute you train it, so it kinds of a self-discipline. Like you sit. I call it motionless practice. Then later on you can close your eyes. I think it would be fine. Yeah. At the beginning it's hard, but you can practice this. Yeah. So you can count 30 seconds. Now let's start with 30 seconds. Okay. The Easter will count. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Stay motionless. Don't move. Even your feet, even your fingers, even your head or even your neck. And take long breath. Take very long breath. Take very long breath. And just try to be aware of your breath. Take very long breath, okay? Breathing in, breathing out. Yeah. It's at the beginning it's hard,
Yeah.
but this is the practice.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah, because the thing is, like how to say that, like your habit is you know is used to work, you know, because if you don't work, if you don't move your hands or legs, like you feel stress, you know. So
I'm chained or something.
yeah, you want to change, like you want to change. Even little bit movement will make you feel relaxed. Yeah. So that's why. But in training, we train our mind we train ourselves not to do whatever the mind says most of the time when it comes to meditation, because whatever thoughts are arising are not 100% correct. From Buddhism, it can be delusional, it can be imaginative, you know, like it kinds of your own thinking. That is why we have to train not to believe, not to react. So the first step is the posture. The mind will say, okay, calm down, just another second. Like you have to console yourself. It's okay, you will be fine. Even you move or don't move, you will be fine. Like kinds of that. Okay, I will teach you tomorrow. So how about the projector? Did you contact it?